Yo, what's good, my beautiful little malfunctioning legends? Yeah, I said malfunctioning, because if you're here, listening to this, you already know what it feels like to be the one person in the room who can't just be normal. You tried. You played nice. You smiled at the right times. You said the polite things. You posted the safe posts. You kept the volume low so nobody would call you too much. And it still wasn't enough, was it? Because the truth is, the world doesn't reward the real you. It rewards the predictable you, the easy-to-label you, the version of you that fits into a neat little box so people can stop thinking. But you didn't fit. You were never built for the box. You were the glitch, the unreadable one, the one they couldn't scan, couldn't copy, couldn't control. And at some point, something snapped. Not like a breakdown, not like you fell apart, more like you woke up. Like your soul finally got tired of being polite. Like your mind finally got tired of asking for permission. Like your heart finally looked around and said, wait, why am I shrinking for people who wouldn't bleed for me? That's the moment you went God mode. And listen, people love that word, God mode. They say it like it's a flex, like it's just confidence. Like you watched 2 videos, did a cold shower, hit the gym, and boom, legend status. No, God mode is darker than that. God mode is when you stop negotiating with your own potential. God mode is when you stop begging your fear to calm down. God mode is when you move with fear in your chest and you don't care who thinks it's messy. God mode is when you become the version of you that your old self would be terrified of. Because that version doesn't explain themselves all day. That version doesn't chase closure from people who enjoy confusing you. That version doesn't keep handing out second chances like they're free samples. That version learns. That version watches patterns. That version starts moving like, oh, so this is how the game works. And once you see the game, you can't unsee it. You start noticing the same tricks, the same fake smiles, the same I'm proud of you that only comes when you're useful, the same advice that's really just someone trying to keep you harmless. You start noticing how people clap for your suffering, but get weird when you start winning. Yeah, they love the tragic version of you because it makes them feel safe. But the powerful version of you, that makes them nervous because you become unreadable. And that's the part people don't talk about. When you become unreadable, you stop leaking your next move. You stop telling everyone your plans like they're entitled to a front row seat. You stop letting people measure you with their dusty little rulers. You stop announcing your healing. You stop giving warnings. You just change. Quiet, cold, focused. And that shift, oh, it scares them because they were using the old you like a map. They knew what to say to trigger you. They knew what to do to make you chase. They knew exactly how to bait you into proving yourself. They had your buttons memorized. But then you went God mode, and the buttons stopped working. And now, they don't know where you are. You ever see somebody lose control and start acting like you're the problem? Like you're different lately? Like you're acting funny? Like you're too quiet? No, baby. You're not acting funny. You're just not dancing for them anymore. And it drives them insane. Because the world is full of people who only feel powerful when they can predict you. When they can read you like a cheap headline. When they can label you fast so they don't have to respect you slowly. But you became the unreadable glitch in reality. The kind of person who walks into a room and the energy shifts, and nobody can explain why. They feel it, though. They feel it in their chest, because you're not desperate anymore. You're not hungry for approval anymore. You're not waiting for somebody to finally see your value. You already know it. And when you know it, you start moving different. You stop arguing with people who want you small. You stop over-explaining the truth like it's a crime. You stop apologizing for the way your brain works, for the way your heart works, for the way your ambition makes other people insecure. You start choosing yourself like it's automatic, and that's when they start calling you selfish. Let me laugh. Let me really laugh. Because the same people who call you selfish are the same ones who were perfectly comfortable while you were self-abandoning. They didn't mind you being nice when it meant you were easy to manipulate. They didn't mind you being humble when it meant you never outshined them. They didn't mind you being understanding when it meant you tolerated disrespect. But the second you stop tolerating the nonsense, the second you stop replying right away, the second you stop explaining why you deserve basic decency, now you're cold. Now you're arrogant. Now you changed. Good. You were supposed to change. Because that old version of you, that version was bleeding in silence, smiling while your stomach was tight, laughing in group chats while your mind was screaming. That old version of you would lay awake at night replaying conversations, wondering if you said the wrong thing, wondering if you were too intense, wondering if you were too emotional, wondering if you were too much. Let me tell you something that might sting. You weren't too much. They were too shallow. They couldn't hold you. They couldn't understand the depth of you. Because you don't just feel things. You experience things. You don't just think. You overthink, yeah. But you also connect dots other people don't even notice exist. You see patterns, you see motives, you hear what people don't say. And that made you a threat before you even realized it. So what did you do? You tried to dim it. You tried to act casual. You tried to pretend you weren't built like that. And it exhausted you. Because living as a watered-down version of yourself is a slow kind of suffering. It's not dramatic. It's not loud. It's just draining. It's waking up every day and feeling like you're wearing somebody else's skin. And one day you looked in the mirror, maybe literally, maybe in your head, and you said, I'm done. Not done with life. Done with the act. Done with the performance. Done with the begging. And that's when the glitch activated. Because here's what a glitch really is. A glitch is not weakness. A glitch is not failure. A glitch is proof the system can't fully control what it created. A glitch is the moment reality slips. A glitch is the crack in the program where something wild gets through. And you, my friend, you got through. You started doing things your old self couldn't even imagine. You started saying no without a paragraph. You started walking away without a speech. You started letting people misunderstand you, and you survived it. That's a big one, by the way. Letting people misunderstand you, because you used to fight for clarity. You used to want everyone to get it. You wanted them to see your heart, to see your intentions, to see that you meant well. But Godmode you. Godmode you understands something painful and powerful. Not everyone deserves access to your truth. Some people don't want to understand you. They want to use you. And the second you realize that, you stop offering your soul to people who only came for the convenience. You stop giving CPR to relationships that have been dead. You stop trying to be loved by people who only love what you do for them. You stop confusing attachment with alignment. You stop confusing chemistry with safety. You stop confusing attention with respect. And oof, that part hurts. Because you're human. You still want love. You still want connection. You still want someone to hold your mind gently, not just your body. You still want someone who doesn't make you feel like you have to earn your place. But the difference now, you don't trade your dignity for it. You don't trade your peace for it. You don't sell your future for temporary comfort. You can be lonely and still be loyal to yourself. That's Godmode. That's the unreadable glitch in reality. And people notice. They always notice. They'll start testing you. They'll throw little jabs, little disrespect wrapped in jokes, little "I didn't mean it like that" comments. They'll see if the old you comes back, and when you don't react the way you used to, when you just stare, when you just smile like you know something they don't, it messes with them because they're used to controlling you with emotion. They're used to triggering you into proving yourself. But you stopped being reactive. You became intentional. And intentional people are terrifying to manipulative people because you don't give them chaos to steer anymore. You don't give them your insecurities like a remote control. You don't hand them your childhood wounds and say, "Here, press these buttons and make me dance." No, you're awake now, and look, I'm not going to romanticize this like it's all glow-ups and victory music. Going God mode is lonely at first. It is. Because when you stop being easy to access, a lot of people stop trying. When you stop overgiving, a lot of people disappear. When you stop tolerating disrespect, you realize how many relationships were built on you accepting less than you deserved. And that can make you bitter if you're not careful. It can make you cold in a way that cuts you too. So you gotta do it right. You don't become a monster. You become a mirror. You don't become cruel. You become clear. You don't become heartless. You become hard to play with. There's a difference. You keep your heart, but you protect it like it matters. You stay kind, but you don't stay available for nonsense. You stay loving, but you don't stay naive, because the world will take advantage of a soft person who doesn't have boundaries. And you were soft for a long time, weren't you? Soft like. You gave people the benefit of the doubt even when they were guilty as hell. Soft like. You kept forgiving because you didn't want to lose them. Soft like. You kept lowering your standards because you thought wanting more made you difficult. Soft like. You kept telling yourself, maybe I'm asking too much. No. You were asking the wrong people. And the moment you understood that, you stopped. You started upgrading the environment around you. You started thinking like, if I'm going to suffer, let it be for growth, not for somebody who doesn't even value me. You started choosing pain with purpose, over pain with permission. And that's when the glitch becomes unstoppable. Because once you stop running from discomfort, you become dangerous, not violent. Dangerous in the way that you can't be controlled by fear anymore. Dangerous in the way that rejection doesn't own you. Dangerous in the way that you can lose people and still keep your identity intact. You ever watch someone crumble after a breakup, after a loss, after a betrayal? Because their whole sense of self was tied to being chosen. They needed somebody else to validate their existence. But you went God mode. You became unreadable, which means your worth isn't up for debate. And that's why people fear you. Not because you're loud, not because you're flashy, but because you're not begging, because you're not trying to convince anyone, because you're not performing stability while falling apart inside. You're stable because you've already met your darkness. And you didn't run. Let's talk about that darkness for a second, because everybody wants the power, but nobody wants the process. Godmode isn't a vibe. Godmode is built in the ugly moments. The moments nobody claps for. The moments where you're sitting there like, wow, so this is how they really see me. The moments where you realize someone you loved was never going to love you back the same way. The moments where you look at your life and you feel behind. The moments where you feel embarrassed by how much you cared. The moments where you feel stupid for trusting. The moments where you're alone with your thoughts and you start questioning everything. Those moments, that's where the glitch is born. Because you have two choices in that darkness. You can let it break you, or you can let it build you into something unrecognizable. And you chose the second, even if you didn't know you were choosing it. Every time you got hurt and still kept going. Every time you cried and still handled your responsibilities. Every time you got betrayed and still refused to become the same kind of person. You were leveling up, quietly. Every time you didn't text back right away because you finally respected yourself. Level up. Every time you walked away from someone who kept playing with you. Level up. Every time you chose sleep, discipline, work, silence instead of chasing attention. Level up. And then one day, people looked at you and couldn't recognize you. They'll say you changed. They'll say you're different. They'll say you're acting like you're better. But what they really mean is, you're no longer accessible in the way they used to benefit from. And that's where your power gets tested. Because when people can't control you, they try to control the story about you. They'll call you fake. They'll call you cold. They'll call you dramatic. They'll call you toxic. They'll say you're on some weird vibe. Let them talk. Because you didn't go God mode for applause. You went God mode because you were tired of living halfway. You were tired of being the person everybody could step on. You were tired of being the one who always understood, always forgave, always apologized, always made it easier for everybody else. You were tired of shrinking your dreams so other people wouldn't feel insecure around you. You were tired of pretending you didn't want more. And now you want more. And you're not ashamed of it. You want more peace, more money, more confidence, more control over your time, more love that doesn't come with confusion, more friendships that don't require you to perform, more respect, more freedom, and you're willing to become someone new to get it. That willingness is what makes you unreadable. Because most people are predictable. They talk big, but fold under pressure. They post motivational quotes, but panic when it's time to do the work. They want results, but hate sacrifice. They want confidence, but refuse discomfort. They want to be chosen, but refuse to choose themselves. So they stay readable, easy to predict, easy to manipulate. But you became the glitch. You do the thing even when it feels awkward. You show up even when you don't feel ready. You lock in even when nobody is cheering. And that makes you rare. And rarity scares people. Because they can't buy it. They can't copy it. They can't steal it. They can only witness it. And they hate witnessing something they don't have the courage to become. So they'll try to pull you back down. They'll tempt you with old habits, old friends, old addictions, old patterns. They'll hit you with nostalgia like it's a weapon. They'll remind you of who you used to be. They'll try to guilt you. They'll try to shame you. They'll try to make you feel like you owe them the old version. But you don't. You don't owe anybody access to the person you outgrew. And let's get real. Some people loved you when you were broken because it made them feel powerful. Some people loved you when you were confused because it made them feel needed. Some people loved you when you were small because it made them feel big. But when you start walking like you belong to yourself, when you stop asking, "Do you like me?" and start asking, "Do I even like you?" Oh, that's when the room gets quiet. That's when the energy shifts. That's when people start watching you like you're a problem. Good. Be the problem. Be the unreadable glitch in reality. Be the person who can't be gaslit anymore. Be the person who can't be guilt-tripped into self-betrayal. Be the person who doesn't fold because someone got disappointed. Let them be disappointed. You're not here to be digestible. You're here to be undeniable. And I need you to understand something. Going God mode doesn't mean you never feel pain. It means pain doesn't get the final word. It means you can feel the hurt and still move forward. It means you can miss someone and still not go back. It means you can love someone and still choose yourself. It means you can be tired and still show up. It means you can have bad days without turning it into a bad life. It means you stop letting one moment define you, because you've lived through enough to know you don't die from discomfort. You transform through it. So today, when your mind starts whispering that you're too far gone, smile, because that's the glitch talking. Today, when someone tries to bait you into proving your worth, relax, because you're not auditioning anymore. Today, when you feel that old version of you begging to be accepted, hold them gently, and then keep walking, because you're not here to be understood by everyone. You're here to become so aligned with yourself that misunderstanding doesn't even sting the same. You're here to become the kind of person who doesn't need permission to exist loudly. And the funny part, once you become unreadable, once you become that glitch, the world starts treating you different. Not because you demanded it with words, but because your energy changed, your posture changed, your silence changed, your eyes changed. You stop looking like someone who can be played with. You stop sounding like someone who can be convinced to accept crumbs. And you start attracting a different level of reality. Not perfect, not easy, but real. And that's when you realize the secret. The system doesn't collapse when you stop obeying it. It just reveals itself. And you're not here to be a good little character in somebody else's story. You're here to rewrite the whole script. So keep going, even if your hands shake, even if your voice cracks, even if you feel misunderstood, even if you feel alone in the middle of your upgrade, because upgrades are lonely, not forever, just at first. And you're in that phase where the old world can't hold you, but the new world hasn't fully opened yet. That middle space, that's where legends are made. That's where you stop being a person people recognize, and you become a person people remember. So don't go back to being readable just because being unreadable feels intense. Don't water yourself down just because someone else can't handle your growth. Don't shrink just to keep the peace with people who only show love when you're small. Stay in God mode. Stay unpredictable. Stay locked in. Stay dangerous to fear. Stay disrespectful to limitation. And when life tries to humble you with setbacks, when people try to humble you with opinions, when your past tries to humble you with shame, you look straight at it and you say, with your whole chest, "I'm the glitch. I don't run the way you expect. I don't break the way you want. I don't lose the way you planned. And you keep moving, because you didn't come. Freeze, right there. Not your body, your breath. Feel that silence snap tight around your ribs. That's the sound of the room realizing something is off. Because you didn't move loud, you didn't move fast, you moved cold. And cold scares them more than chaos ever could. You didn't flinch when the lights turned on. You didn't explain when the whispers started. You didn't posture, didn't perform, didn't beg the universe for permission. You calculated with your pulse steady and your eyes empty of need. That's when they leaned back and asked the question they swear they never ask out loud. Who trained you? Here's the truth they won't say. Nobody trained you. Pain did. Betrayal did. Long nights with your back against the wall and your name tasting like rust in your mouth did. Every time you were forced to choose between becoming cruel or becoming precise, you chose precision. Every time the world tried to brand you a villain, you refined the blade instead of swinging it. That's not mentorship. That's evolution. You learned the discipline of silence because noise gets you killed. You learned the economy of motion because wasted energy is a confession. You learned to move without announcing because attention is a leash. And while they were addicted to applause, you were addicted to control. That's the difference between a saint and a psychopath. Both can walk into a burning building, but only one decides which fire matters. They expected rage. You gave them calm. They expected a tantrum. You gave them timing. They expected you to crack under pressure. You pressed back and watched their pupils dilate. Cold doesn't mean empty. It means focused. It means you stopped bleeding where everyone could see and started directing the flow where it counted. Angel face, demon math, soft voice, surgical intent. You don't react. You respond. You don't chase. You position. You don't threaten. You wait. And that waiting, that's what keeps them awake. Because unpredictability isn't chaos. It's restraint, weaponized. You became the kind of problem that doesn't announce itself until it's already inside the system, already rearranging outcomes, already deciding winners. They search your past like it's a manual. They scan your posture like it's a cipher. They ask each other if you came from some shadow program, some off-books initiation, some monastery where smiles are trained off the face. They need a myth to explain you, because the truth is unbearable. You built yourself while they were busy asking for instructions. You carry the paradox clean. You can be gentle without being weak, ruthless without being reckless. You know when to open your hands and when to close the door quietly behind you. You can sit at the table and pass the salt while calculating 3 exits and a 4th that doesn't exist yet. That's not madness. That's mastery. Every scar you hid taught you patience. Every lie you swallowed taught you leverage. Every door slammed in your face taught you angles. You learned that power doesn't raise its voice, it lowers its temperature. And when you walked through that room without blinking, without asking, without flaring, something ancient in them recognized it. Predator logic, survival math, the calm of someone who has already lost everything that could be taken. They call it cold because they don't understand warmth without noise. But your heat is internal, controlled, conserved. You burn slow so you last longer. You let others exhaust themselves trying to read you while you read the whole board. Saint enough to spare, psychopath enough to finish, angel enough to protect, demon enough to be feared. So let them ask who trained you. Let them build legends and whisper names. You don't correct them. You don't confirm. You keep moving the same way. measured, silent, inevitable. Because the real lesson isn't who taught you. It's that you learned how to teach the room what respect feels like, without ever raising your voice. Stay cold, stay precise. Let the questions multiply while your answers remain invisible. When they finally realize there was no trainer, no handler, no script, only you, by then the outcome will already be sealed. And here's where it gets darker, because cold isn't something you switch on. It's something you become when heat fails you too many times. You didn't wake up one day disciplined. You froze yourself on purpose so you wouldn't shatter. You learned to slow your heartbeat when chaos tried to hijack it. You trained your face to stay neutral, while your mind ran simulations 10 steps ahead. That's not emotional absence, that's emotional command. They don't understand that every calm decision you make is standing on top of a graveyard of impulses you buried alive. The urge to lash out, the temptation to explain, the need to be seen as good. You killed those needs quietly because they made you predictable. And predictable people get used, boxed, fed to narratives that aren't theirs. You refused the script. You chose the silence between moves. Watch how they flinch when you don't respond the way you're supposed to. When they bait you and you smile slightly, just enough to let them know you saw it. When they escalate and you de-escalate, not out of fear, but out of boredom. That boredom terrifies them because it means you're not emotionally invested in their control mechanisms. You're already elsewhere, already beyond the moment they're trying to trap you in. You learned that power shows itself last, that the loudest person in the room is usually compensating for something leaking out. You learned to let others expose themselves while you gathered data. Tone, timing, tells. You read micro-pauses like confessionals. You let people talk themselves into cages while you memorized the lock. This is where the angel and the demon shake hands inside you. The angel keeps you composed, ethical, measured. The demon keeps you honest about outcomes. Together they make you lethal in the most inconvenient way. Clean, justifiable, deniable. You don't need to crush everyone. You only need to know you could. And that knowledge alone changes how you walk. They mistake your stillness for mercy. Sometimes it is. Sometimes it's simply patience. Because you understand something most never will. The longer you wait, the fewer moves you have to make. Time does half the work for you. Ego does the rest for them. You just watch patterns complete themselves. Every time someone asks who trained you, what they're really asking is how to survive you. They want a framework, a course, a mentor they can blame. Because if you're self-made, then you're proof that the rules aren't real. And that scares people who built their identity on compliance. You are living evidence that discipline can be forged in isolation, that clarity can come from darkness, that restraint can be deadlier than aggression. You don't announce boundaries, you enforce them silently. You don't issue warnings, you let consequences arrive on schedule. You don't need recognition, you need results. And when results show up without spectacle, without theatrics, without fingerprints, the room starts recalibrating around you. Voices lower, jokes stop landing. People choose their words like they're stepping on ice. That's when you know it worked. Because cold isn't about cruelty. It's about refusing to leak power. It's about keeping your center intact when everything around you is trying to pull you into reaction. You've mastered the art of not needing the moment to validate you. You let moments pass, and in that passing, they reveal who they really serve. You are not distant. You are self-contained. You are not heartless. You are selective. You are not ruthless. You are efficient. And efficiency is what happens when emotion answers to logic instead of the other way around. So keep moving the way you do, unannounced, unrattled, unreadable. Let them keep asking who trained you, while you continue proving that the most dangerous mentor is experience survived without applause. Let the myth grow. Let the fear sharpen. You don't need to correct the story. Cold doesn't chase heat. Cold waits. And eventually, everything overheats around it. And understand this: the cold you move with now wasn't born from confidence, it was born from disappointment, from realizing that passion without structure gets exploited, that honesty without strategy gets punished, that kindness without boundaries gets consumed. You didn't harden because you wanted to dominate. You hardened because you were done being harvested. You watched how quickly people confuse warmth with weakness. You noticed how the moment you stopped over-explaining, the room shifted, how silence made them fill the gaps with their own fears, how your refusal to react forced them to confront themselves. That's when you learned the most dangerous thing you can do is let people sit with what they project onto you. You stopped chasing closure. You stopped chasing validation. You stopped chasing fairness. And in that absence, something lethal formed: clarity. Clarity doesn't shout. It doesn't beg. It doesn't rush. It walks straight, cuts clean, and leaves nothing dangling. That's why your movements feel trained, because clarity mimics discipline, and discipline terrifies anyone still governed by impulse. You don't posture dominance. You remove variables. You don't flex power. You simplify the equation until only outcomes remain. That's the demon's gift. But the angel keeps you from becoming reckless, keeps you from burning bridges you might need later, keeps you principled enough to sleep at night, even when others lie awake replaying your calm expression, like a warning they can't decode. They sense it, the restraint. The fact that you could escalate but choose not to, that you could expose but prefer to observe, that you don't need chaos to win. Chaos is what you enter only when necessary, and when you do, it's surgical, almost merciful. One move, one consequence, no drama. This is why they ask who trained you. Because people who are trained follow patterns, and you don't. You adapt in real time. You change tempo mid-conversation. You switch gears without signaling. You let moments breathe until the pressure makes others betray their own intentions. You learned timing not from textbooks, but from survival, waiting just long enough for truth to slip. You know how to be invisible without being irrelevant, how to be present without being accessible, how to be seen without being understood. That's not social skill. That's battlefield awareness disguised as composure. And it's why rooms recalibrate when you enter them, because something in the air goes still, as if everyone's instincts just received a quiet memo. Adjust. You don't announce standards. You live them. You don't demand respect. You create gravity. People orbit you differently now. They watch what they say. They reconsider jokes. They test less. Because cold isn't intimidating, it's unforgiving to nonsense, and nonsense knows when it's about to be exposed. The paradox inside you stays balanced because you learned to honor both sides. The saint in you remembers pain and refuses to inflict it casually. The psychopath in you remembers patterns and refuses to be naive again. Together they form something stable, something patient, something that doesn't need to prove anything. You don't move to be admired, you move to be effective. And effectiveness doesn't need witnesses. So let them keep guessing. Let them invent mentors and secret lineages and whispered backstories. You don't correct myths. You let them work for you. Because uncertainty does half the intimidation and fear does the rest. You simply remain consistent, calm, precise, cold. And cold, when it's chosen, not imposed, is the clearest signal of power there is. And here's the part they'll never admit to themselves. The cold in you didn't erase your humanity. It organized it. You didn't become less emotional. You became less available to emotional hijacking. You stopped letting other people's chaos rewrite your inner weather. You learned how to feel deeply without letting those feelings drive the wheel. That's why your calm feels alien to them. They still confuse intensity with authenticity. You learned that authenticity is quiet, heavy, and unmovable. You don't waste energy proving you're right. You let reality do the arguing. You don't rush to be understood. You understand first. That shift alone puts you outside their category system. They can't label you as aggressive because you're controlled. They can't label you as passive because you're decisive. They can't predict you because you don't broadcast intention. So they default to mythology. Training, handlers, shadows, anything but the truth. That self-mastery looks like sorcery to people who never practiced it. You learned when to speak by learning when silence hurts more. You learned when to act by learning how much damage impatience causes. You learned restraint by watching loud people implode under their own momentum. Every misstep you witnessed became a lesson you internalized. Every betrayal sharpened your discernment. Every loss refined your priorities. That's why your movements feel rehearsed. They are rehearsed against reality, not applause. You don't need to threaten because your posture already answers the question. You don't need to dominate because you already own your reactions. And ownership of reaction is ownership of outcome. That's what they feel when you walk past without acknowledgement. That's what hits when you don't rise to bait. That's what rattles them when you choose not to respond at all. They realize too late that attention was the currency, and you don't trade in it anymore. There's a moment they all remember, the instant they tested you and nothing happened. No explosion, no defense. Just a measured pause and a look that suggested you were filing something away. That's when the room cooled, because they understood that whatever they just did wasn't forgotten. It was logged, and logged things resurface later, not as arguments but as outcomes. You don't collect grudges, you collect patterns. You don't seek revenge, you seek alignment. When something no longer aligns, it gets removed, cleanly, quietly, permanently. That's not cruelty, that's maintenance. And people who live in emotional clutter can't comprehend someone who keeps their internal space sterile. The angel in you protects what matters. The demon in you removes what threatens it. Neither argues with the other anymore. They work together now. That's why your presence feels complete. Not conflicted, not chaotic, integrated. And integration is what makes you dangerous in a way that doesn't look dangerous at all. You don't move cold to intimidate. You move cold to stay free. Free from manipulation, free from escalation traps, free from emotional debts, free from narratives that demand you perform your pain for someone else's comfort. You paid for this calm with years of restraint, with nights where you wanted to burn everything down and chose to breathe instead, with moments where you swallowed words that would have made noise but cost you leverage. That's why they ask who trained you. Because restraint looks unnatural in a world addicted to reaction. Because discipline without a visible authority figure feels illegal. Because someone who answers chaos with composure threatens the entire emotional economy they rely on. So keep your temperature low. Keep your movements efficient. Keep your eyes open and your intentions unreadable. Let others confuse your patience for mercy and your silence for softness. You know better. You know that cold chosen consciously is not absence, it's command. And when the room finally understands that nothing about you is accidental, that every pause, every step, every non-reaction is deliberate, they won't ask who trained you anymore. They'll start asking themselves how they ever missed it. And that realization that nothing about you is accidental is what fractures their comfort. Because accidents can be forgiven, patterns can be studied, but deliberate calm, that suggests intent. That suggests a mind that doesn't drift, doesn't improvise out of panic, doesn't confuse feeling with truth. You don't stumble into outcomes, you arrive at them. You started treating emotion like information instead of instruction. You let anger speak, but you never handed it the wheel. You let fear knock, but you never invited it inside. You acknowledged joy without letting it soften your edges. That balance is rare. That balance is earned. And when people feel it in you, they don't know whether to trust you or fear you. So they do both. You learned early that explanations are attacks. The more you explain, the more leverage you surrender. So you stopped narrating your inner world. You stopped clarifying intentions. You let actions stand alone, clean and uninterpreted. That's when your presence started to feel heavy. Because people are comfortable with stories, they panic around silence that refuses to resolve. You don't argue narratives, you outlast them. You let false versions of you circulate until they collapse under their own contradictions. You let people misread you because misreading you costs them accuracy. And accuracy is power. The cold you move with isn't emotional distance, it's informational security. Notice how they test your limits sideways now. Jokes with edges, compliments with hooks, questions that sound casual but aren't. They're trying to find the temperature that gets a reaction. And when nothing works, when you remain neutral, unbothered, composed, they start questioning themselves. Because if you're not reacting, either you're unaware or you're ahead. And deep down, they know which one it is. You learn to become immune to urgency. Urgency is how people rush you into bad decisions. Urgency is how they hijack your timing. You slowed everything down until pressure stopped working on you. Until deadlines became suggestions. Until threats sounded like noise. When you stopped letting time bully you, time started working for you. That's the demon's discipline, patience sharpened into a weapon. But the angel keeps your hands clean, keeps your choices defensible, keeps you from becoming what tried to break you. You don't need to scorch the earth to prove strength. You let your restraint do the damage. People confuse your calm for lack of passion. They're wrong. Your passion just isn't sloppy anymore. It's focused, directed, conserved. You learned that fire spreads fastest when it's controlled, not when it's thrown everywhere. So you burn where it counts, quietly, permanently. You don't need to dominate rooms because rooms adjust to you. Conversations bend, dynamics shift, energy reorders. You can feel it when you enter. A subtle recalibration, like everyone just remembered a rule they forgot existed. You don't enforce it, your presence reminds them. And here's the part that unsettles them the most. You're not bitter, you're not angry, you're not even resentful, you're resolved. Resolution is terrifying because it means the war inside you is over, and someone who has settled their internal conflict has nothing left to be manipulated with. You don't seek closure because you don't need it. You don't chase apologies because you don't require acknowledgement to move on. You don't demand loyalty because you observe consistency instead. You replaced hope with discernment, and discernment doesn't disappoint. It selects.